All right, negotiation is our last skill in the Options to Anger program that we're doing here. It's a great skill. I hope that you'll be able to use it. It involves a couple of different parts, and we'll get into it. Let's look at what it isn't at first. So negotiation is not arguing. Negotiation is not a manipulation. You're not trying to get what you want. Using anger is a manipulation to get something. Negotiation is not whining, complaining, yelling. And negotiation is not trying to convince someone to do something for you for nothing. A lot of people think of negotiation as making a deal. Some people think of a deal as like a win-win situation. But the problem with that is win-win implies nothing was given in order to get what you want. Sometimes there's a compromise made. So we teach the giving-getting rule. And the giving-getting rule is simply you are more likely to get something from someone if you give them something. So we've got to think of something that's meaningful to give that person. And we can ask ourselves a few questions in order to figure out that. What am I willing to give in order to get what I want? How important is it that I get my way on this? So what am I willing to give in order to get that? Maybe if it's really important, I'm willing to give more than if it was a minor thing. What might the other person want? So think about what they are going to be interested in order to help you make this deal. And is what I'm giving meaningful to the situation? In other words, does it make sense in this situation? If I'm going to be negotiating over borrowing some money, I would probably relate my negotiation giving to money in some way. And can I follow through with this? So you don't want to promise something that you can't do. So for example, if I said, hey, can I borrow $10? I'll pay you back tomorrow, and I can't actually do that tomorrow, then I'm manipulating and basically tricking or lying to get something, rather than if I had a plan and was able to follow through with that. Maybe I said, hey, can I borrow $10? I will pay you back $5 for the next 3 days. And I can actually follow through with that, and it might be worth it to them to let me borrow that $10. All right, so we have a situation here. Let's say Kyle wants to stay out late tonight so he can see a new movie with his friend, or with a friend. His parents have set a rule to be home by 9:30, but the movie will get over at 11. His parent is concerned about him falling behind in school. Okay, so that's the scenario for Kyle. Let's look at what does Kyle want in this situation. So if you look at it, it's pretty clear that he wants to be able to go see that movie, right? So he needs to be able to stay out later tonight so that he can go see the movie. What can Kyle give to his parent in order to get what he wants? So we got to think about those questions from earlier. What makes sense in this situation? So here's some options. So the money, give the parents $20 to let them go out. I don't think that makes sense for this one because we got to look at what the parents want. The parents are concerned about him falling behind in school, so they aren't concerned about money in this scenario as far as we can tell. Do the dishes when he gets back home from the movie, or gets home from the movie, or back from the movie. Yeah, that could work, but we don't really have any information about that in this paragraph, so it doesn't quite fit. Do all his homework before he leaves. Okay, that one makes sense because the parents are concerned about him falling behind in school. So if he gets his work done before he leaves, that would show them that he's more serious about getting his homework done and getting caught up in school. Come home early tomorrow night. Again, that one could work, but it probably doesn't make the most sense of the choices here. And tell them his friends' parents all let them stay out late. I'm sure that people try this one, and maybe sometimes it works, but this is a manipulation and not a negotiation. If you're bringing up other people's parents, and we're using thinking errors there. So let's practice this scenario without using negotiation. Drawings here. So we have Kyle over here on the left, and his, let's say, dad on the right here. So Kyle's going to say, so there's this movie tonight that I would like to go see, but I wouldn't be back until after 11 p.m. And the parents like, your curfew is at 9:30, so I don't think that's going to work. I'm also worried because you're falling behind in school. And Kyle says, come on, please, just let me go. I really want to see this movie. Sorry, your curfew's at 9:30, so no. Come on, you never let me do anything. I said no, and you better get those grades up in school or you're grounded. All right. So without the negotiation skill, you can see how this quickly turns into something that is an argument. Maybe Kyle's going to get frustrated, angry. Maybe the parent's going to be upset with them. So this is why negotiation is part of the Options to Anger curriculum, because it can help you prevent making a situation where invitations are going to be happening. Again, using negotiation skill and the giving-getting rule with the option we picked before. So it's going to start out the same way. There's this movie I want to go to, but it doesn't get, I wouldn't be back until after 11. Curfew's 9:30, so I don't think that'll work. Worried about school again. All right, but now we're going to use the giving-getting rule. What if, before I go to the movie, I get all my homework done? Well, if you get all your homework done before you leave and come home as soon as the movie's over, you can go. Okay, that worked pretty good. Thank you. I'll get to work on my homework. There's quite a bit. So he's going to go off and follow through with what he said he would do. The parent says, let's stay on top of your schoolwork in the future so we don't have to worry. So in this situation, not only did he give and get, but the parent also gave some understanding to him about how he was worried about the school, and let's try to work to make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen in the future. So another important thing to remember here is negotiation doesn't guarantee you'll get your way. It only improves your chances of success. So in that last scenario, it worked great. However, it's not a guarantee. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you necessarily did it wrong. It just sometimes, it doesn't get what you want every time. Sometimes you don't get what you want, but you get something else. So maybe you're going to be creating an understanding with the parent. They will know where you're coming from. You will know that they're worried about your schoolwork, and then you can move on from there. And it's also important to remember that some things just aren't negotiable or non-negotiable. And it could be very frustrating when you don't get what you want, but you got to be prepared for that outcome, because it's sometimes going to be the case, because some things just aren't negotiable. Let's look at our, and let's see what happens with a little different outcome. So we're going to start out the same way. There's this movie. Won't be back till 11. Same here. Curfew's 9:30. Don't think that'll work. Worried about school. Okay. I'm going to try the giving getting rule here. What if before I go to the movie, I get all my homework done? But this time, the parent's saying, I'm still worried about you falling behind in school. If you can get your grades up to a B average, we can extend your curfew next week. All right. So it doesn't seem like Kyle's getting what he wants here, but he's getting something else. So he's getting an understanding of what the parent would like to see, and also he's getting basically a promise that we can look at the curfew being extended if he gives better grades. So there's still a giving getting going on here. Kyle's not super excited about it, but he understands. He says, darn, so next week, if my grades are up, I can go? Yes, I know you want to go tonight, but school is a priority. So this scenario, he did not get to go, kind of like with the first one where he didn't use the skill, but it worked out a lot better. We're avoiding a lot of anger that could have happened, like in our first scenario where he didn't use the giving getting rule at all. We're just seeing that they've created this understanding, and now he is also getting basically the opportunity to have an extended curfew in the future if he gets his grades up. So this skill is a little more complicated than our other ones, but practice it and you will get good at it. It works a lot better than arguing, yelling, and it leaves you with better feelings for you and the person you're negotiating with if you can use it appropriately and not instead of a manipulation or using anger as a manipulation to get what you want.